trying to manage everything at home, not being able to see my mom when she was ill, not being able to see her when she passed was really hard. And I guess the reason I bring it up now is because it wasn't just hard in April. There have been moments since then where the emotion of that and the grieving process has snuck up on me and taken me by surprise.
I think the toughest time for me was, when there's a quarter end and we're supposed to get your, financials, everything into the system, and you are juggling a lot of things at work, plus taking care of a baby.
My oldest daughter, who thrives on routine, her entire, the rug was pulled out from under her. Her entire routine was thrown off. And even when we tried our hardest to create a routine for her in this pandemic world, it was just impossible because both my husband's and my schedules were totally different on a day-to-day basis. So our call schedules totally different. We couldn't come up with a schedule for her that was going to stay consistent.
For us, it was right before school started. We were given a few days notice that the school was going to be remote. And that just threw our whole worlds up and at 'em.
The hardest part was kind of trying to be a strong footing for my family and my clients, I guess, in a way, to try to convey calmness.
I recall being on a really challenging call with a client, and my son was hysterical over something, and I had to choose between maintaining credibility with my client and comforting my son, because I will always choose my son. And so I had to reschedule the conversation. You are risking both your credibility with that client, as well as potentially the success of your career.
I was taking my one-on-ones and my calls during walks or while bouncing around a baby, or always had someone kind of joining my call with me. And so I would say that was the toughest during this period is that lack of just childcare and having to kind of be present and engaged with work as well.
I think the most challenging for me was letting go of expectations. The expectation that I had set for myself as far as how much work I could get done in a day, the expectation of how much time I could focus on my daughter.
It's just, I think it's all the different little pieces of what it is like to be a mom, all the responsibilities that you have, that then just makes it overall sometimes overwhelming, especially during a pandemic.
I think there were just some moments where my anxiety quelled into more like physical manifestations of anxiety. And I would just say to myself, something's got to give here. What could it possibly be? And it was really hard to look at the scenario and see that there wasn't a ton I could change.
2 weeks ago, my son was choking. And I was teaching. And I literally had to stop teaching. And at first, I was trying to teach and help him. And I had something come over me say, Kim, you can't do both. And so that was a huge moment for me, because I literally second guessed whether to take care of my son or continue teaching.
My daughter was in her room, kind of like yelling through the door that there's no connection on the computer. I took a deep breath. I went in her room. I tried to figure it out. And I was so frustrated with everything that I literally started to cry, but like in a whimpering way. And I was so frustrated that I kind of just started laughing, and then she starts laughing. But like in my personal life, it was still crying. But inside it was definitely still just tears and sadness and desperation.
During one of my meetings, I actually had heard the front door open and my children were outside, my dog was outside. I had a panic moment of, this is an issue, this is a real problem. Something could happen to my children. If I can't feel like I can watch them and protect them, then I'm putting our whole family at risk.